I'm gonna end up hating this video later on. I don't know if this is gonna be a thing in the future or I'm just gonna procrastinate as shit and forget about this. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I really hate the way I sound and I hate the way I look. So this is pretty much helping me to get over my issues over my image. So yeah, let's see how this goes and see if it works or not, if I have time for it. I'm going to be reviewing off the channel will be Lovely War by Julie Berry. It's a very pretty book. I actually liked it. I seen this book last year on Goodreads on someone's reading list that they wanted to read, and I read the premise, which basically follows Ap- Aphrodite and Ares being caught by her husband, Hesperides. You know, I'm gonna call him H. Fuck it, I'm calling him H because I can't pronounce that shit. Anyways, so it's kind of like a retelling of an old story of a Greek myth where H catches his wife Aphrodite and Ares and a net, and then takes them out to Olympus where they're judged and ridiculed and shit like that. And this retelling kind of follows where the the catching actually happens in World War II, where all of a sudden it changes to where Aphrodite's like trying to say that love and war go hand in hand. She's basically explaining like why they're attracted to each other, why are they having an affair through a story that takes place in World War I, where she was responsible for two love affairs that happened there. And in World War I, you follow two couples, one from different parts of backgrounds, different parts of dreams, skills, basically. And it's what I really liked about this book the most was the fact that you got to see different perspective from a World War I that's primarily is always told through a white Caucasian soldier history, which is very very important too. But at the same time, it's always nice to see other voices like a black character participating in the war and a woman who another character who was like very caught up in the war, like right in the middle of it, and her world has been torn apart by it. And you got this other character who's very innocent and just looking at the world through a different set of eyes from them, basically. And I also really enjoyed about the perspectives of each god that came into play that as part of this trial or something that was going on with Aphrodite, Ares, and H. And you can for each perspective you can tell there's like a different flavor that they had in the POV. Like I wasn't very I know this is I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, but I did not like Aries' perspective. I felt like it was very jaunty and very like whoosh, whoosh, I guess you can say like it's very hard to read, I guess, as part of and it shows through the POV shows his own personality, as same as with Aphrodite's. Aphrodite man, oh my god, that bitch. I wish she was my friend. I wish she just came down and showed me the man that I'm going to be with because that's what I want. Not really, but sometimes I just feel like I can be friends with that bitch. I don't care if you did some fucked up shit in the past. I don't care. One of the aspects I really did not like about the book was that what did I not? You know, fuck it. I did not like. I had no problem with the book at all. I felt like it flowed nicely. I felt like it flowed like very with the story. The pacing was good. At the end, I was kind of hoping that there was going to be a scene where actual the war was called off, but it was kind of back in the scenes, and I just couldn't. It would have been nice to see that as a relief for each of the characters who were involved in the war. I guess I never even got to tell you about the characters of World War I. There are two couples. The first couple I had to talk about would have to be James and Hazel. James and Hazel are English people from England, of course. I think James was Scott. I'm not sure. Um, Hazel would have to be the innocent one, who's a pianist. Yeah. She's a pianist who has a very simple dream, simple life, and I really love that about her. She wasn't overtly not really ignorant of the world around her. She wasn't that naive. She knew about the world around her, but she didn't let that get that down on her. She was a very positive person. She didn't really see that it was all bad. But she knew there was bad, but she knew that good can come out of it. And her counterpart, her love interest, James, is a new recruit for the England army for this war. And he goes through some really traumatic stuff that he has a hard time, which they call back then was shell shock, but now they call it post traumatic stress disorder. Was that a spoiler? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Also, the other couples you first got is Aubrey and Colette. Aubrey is an American black man who's part of this band, trying to make a name for himself as a jazz player, and ends up going to war as part of a band, but he also participates in the war. And he faces the most. I feel like he faces the most discrimination that he had. I really that really intrigued me to see that, because you never really hear people talk about like the discrimination that people of color had to experience who wanted to join the war and fight for their country, which is something that I heard stories about indigenous men who were going there, but they were treated very badly. Some of them were forced to do things that they weren't, like fix mechanics or stuff like that, and that really touched me. His story, and the fourth character, Aubrey's love interest, is Colette. She is a refugee. I think she's not a refugee. She's a survivor of a tragic event that happened to her community, to her hometown, her family. She pretty much has lost everyone since the war started, and now both her and Hazel are working as aides. I think not AIDS, something like AIDS, but like they're helping the war effort by working for it as participating in it. And each of these couples kind of like interweave in one another, and you can see how Aphrodite was playing a hand in their romance. Somewhere along the lines, the romance kind of like jumps off the train, and it's basically them trying to find their way back together again. And in the ending was very bittersweet, because at the time Hazel and Colette's families are all grown up now, and it's World War II, so their children are going off the war. They're going to experience the same type of post traumatic stress disorder, post traumatic events, something like their fathers had gone through, or their mothers, and it's a bittersweet. I love that part. Like it doesn't like wrap up nicely as it wants to. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this book, even though it took me like 2 months to fucking finish. Oh my god. I think it's because I was doing my practicum while I was reading half of this book. Yeah. Uh, in between doing the practicum, I would always sneak like a passage here and there, but I was always frustrated because I knew I had to finish my work. And this book like literally kept me up after I was done my practicum. I read the book in a span of a day and a night. So yeah. I gave this book 5 stars on Goodreads, but I kind of wish it was a 5.5 stars, because for me, the prose are beautiful. The prose is beautiful. The characterization is beautiful. The pacing is just the right pace for this type of story, and I really just love the fucking story. I'm gonna say that, man. I'm saying that. Thanks, anyways, for listening on to my first video. Holy shit, I'm actually made it through. It's this is gonna be the first of hopefully many videos in the future of Esquire readings. Esquire, yeah.